Hello, welcome back to The Warm Truth. I'm one of your hosts, Kim.
And I'm Alicia, aka Melly Mel. Hello. Welcome to the Warm Truth.
Yeah, so today we have a guest with us. We'll be starting our friendship panel. So sit back, relax, and hopefully, you can relate to something here. Make sure to leave your comments below, and let's get started.
And we will introduce our guests. We have Victoria and let her introduce herself to you all. Hey,
Hey,
Vicky.
ladies.
Hello.
Hey.
Is it giving warm and truth and cozy?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello, y'all. I am Victoria Davis. You can find me on the interwebs as Vicky D, and I'm 39 years old, and I'm all about finding magic in the mundane, finding glimmers in my day, and bringing all that magicness to the environments that I'm in, whether that's being a wife, a dog mom, a marketer, a friend, daughter, sister, so many things.
Awesome. Welcome.
Happy to be
Welcome.
here.
All the things. And like Kim said, we're talking about friendship. So let's just define what friendship means to us. And since you're our guest, we'll start with you, Vicky. Define friendship at this stage in your life.
At this stage, I think it is a deep mutual um, affection that two people have to grow in life together. Um, and I think as we think about friendships, that people don't define it, and that's oftentimes where we get stickiness. I also believe that like three things have to be in play to have a really like a friendship. One, you have to mutually decide we friends. Two, both parties have to say we're going to maintain and invest in the friendship and then cherish what we have together. And it's almost like dating. Like I feel like sometimes people don't define the friendship and then you be thinking you're friends with someone and they're not, and that's where it gets squishy. Um, Especially when you're older and everyone kind of lives in this um, proverbial sphere of your network, and we just use the term friends willy nilly. But I think we really have to define what the person is and how they show up in our lives.
In the past, have you been like, hey, friend, are we friends? Like, should we talk about it? Like, are we just like movie
I
friends
thought
or can
about
we do
that.
dinner now?
I'm a pretty direct person, but I don't come out and ask. I more so pick up on how are they intentional with their interaction with me. Is it only me investing in it in terms of like texting, calling, wanting to hang out, how I communicate with them, how I share more about myself? If they're reciprocating at an equal pace, then that tells me that we're friends. But that came from, I think, years of thinking someone was my friend and they were not matching my energy. And I had to kind of just got my feelings hurt and then walked away.
Yeah. Ooh, friendship to me, I definitely think there's a conversation that has to happen. I'm very type A. And so one example that I like to use is like one of my friends were very literal. And I think both of us in the past got our feelings hurt. So one thing that I like one thing I really like about that friendship is that we're always like, hey, like, do you have capacity before I jump into
Yes.
this? Like, can you listen right now? Or we're very clear on like, hey, I'm just calling. I need to vent. I need you to listen. I don't need any ums, no ahs, no facial expressions. If I want advice for you, I'll ask you later. And so, as maybe high maintenance as that may seem for some people, that's the kind of dynamic I have with her. Now, with another friend, we don't necessarily have to have that dynamic like it just kind of flows and we equally pour into one another. But like you, I've been hurt in the past as well too. So I don't want to say that I match energy, but I'll definitely take a step back. But previously, I was just a giver, 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 and you eventually get tired.
Yes.
And so now I try to assess without withholding. I'm honest about what I can do, what I can't do, and I can be like, hey, like, unfortunately, I can't meet you there right now. And I think that's really hard to understand. And someone else has told me, hey, I can't meet you right here, right now. And I say, okay, understood, but I'm just gonna go over here because I need a little bit more right now. I wish you all the best and we can just keep it moving. And I always tell people like, hey, if I see you out in public, I'm going to keep it cordial. I'll say hi. But definitely when ending friendships or when there are difficulties, I don't want to say over communicate, but I make sure I cover every parameter and kind of show that I've grown and healed and that like there's no beef. It's just not working.
What you said around asking someone, do they have the capacity? I've applied that into every environment that I'm in. I started doing it at work because I feel like I work at an agency, and so I would say like, oh, can we talk about XYZ account? But sometimes people don't have emotional capacity, even in a work environment, to talk about, whatever topic it could be. In my marriage, same thing. You do that because if you don't, then you are going to expect a certain response from someone and be disappointed that they're not meeting you and meeting your needs in the moment when they actually just did not have the capacity at that time. It will save so many arguments in any relationship if you just define your expectations for whatever you need in that moment and don't just assume that someone has what you need to make you feel like you're being heard. So I 100% encourage people. And it sounds very like corporate, like, do you have capacity? But you're just respecting someone's mental and emotional space to hold you in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I guess I got to define it now.
Yes.
So I am an introvert, meaning that, and we talk about this all the time. I've always said it. I'm no new friends. I do have friends that I've had for eons, decades. But in my age, I do need connection and community in order to thrive and just be okay for myself. Now, with that being said, to define friendship, for me, it just needs to be easy. It needs to be an easy flow, someone that is just there. I don't feel forced. I don't feel like I have to put in work for the friendship. A true intention of just, hey, I'm here when you need me. Just as simple as that. I'm easygoing. Me and Victoria actually talked about this. I hate when people go, and I know it's the time, the decade, the era. I think I said this to you too. I hate when people go, "Hey, friend." It does make me like, oh my God, I'm not your friend. Don't say that. But I think as much as I make it sound as easy, I do put weight in the word friend. I feel like if I call you a friend, that means that I'm loyal to you. I am going to put in the effort and the attention to be there for you. And I have already vetted you for that, vice versa. So I guess I go through all of this first, the capacity, the conversations, or just me having my intuition and seeing if there's red flags or, being on the outside looking in. And from that point on, then I'm like, oh, you know what? This is friend. This is easy. I don't feel like it doesn't feel corporate. It doesn't feel like I'm asking you 21 questions. It's something that's just going with the flow. And I'm comfortable to be around you. So that's how I define friendship for me, even currently. Because, I think that delves into our next question about making friends as adults as well. When we think about it, when we were children, we were in school together. We were in the neighborhood together. It was easy. You were always around someone, so you didn't really have to get to know someone. You grew up. We have the same things that we like. We're on the same team, etc. But now in this age group, it's like, okay, do we have the same interests? Because that's the people you gravitate towards a lot more versus not having the same interests or being in the same space or wanting to be in those same spaces.
So, Victoria, do you think it's harder to make friends now or previously in your 20s?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. How much time do y'all have? Like, really?
You have the floor.
When you invited me to be on the pod, I was like, I have all the time. I just had a situation this week, but I won't go into that one. But I will say, I just moved to Austin. It's been 4 years in January, and I left the place that I called home, where my entire village was, my entire community was in Dallas, and left. And I knew nobody in Austin. Well, I knew one person, but she was what I would consider a colleague, someone that I knew in one environment, and I never brought them into like my personal life. So, but when I moved, I said, I have to be intentional about making friends. And I just said, how do I do it? And y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like literally walking up to people who I don't know had a cute handbag and say, your handbag is cute. Or I'm loving this silk press. Where'd you get it done? Or I met a friend on Instagram. She reached out to me. But I think what you were saying regarding making friends and why it's so hard is that I heard Mel Robbins say there's three reasons why friendships exist. Number one is proximity, how physically close you are to someone. So when I left my village in Dallas, I knew who I was going to stay friends with because I had already cultivated them as confidants. And I knew who would be friends in Dallas who I probably would never really see or talk to again. I was fine with that. In Austin, it's different because everyone is here, but I even think to myself, if I ever were to leave, which friends would I, which people would I still be friends with?